Good morning, folks. Dan with Pain Free You. This morning we're going to talk about visualization and how and why that applies to TMS and chronic pain and distraction pain more appropriately. And what I want to just share with you is that visualization is a tool that you hear in the self-help community. And it seems a little woo-woo, like, okay, just visualize what you want and it'll be manifested. You know, the book, The Secret, talked about, manifesting those things that you want. Visualization was a topic in there. And a lot of people think, oh, that's kind of bullshit. Well, what I'd like to suggest to you is that we all use visualization all the time, whether we know it or not. And if we are just in the default mode of thinking, which oftentimes has a lot of negative thoughts and a lot of fear-based thoughts, we're still using visualization. We are still visualizing. And here's what I will suggest to you. You can either use visualization to help you get the things you want, or by default, you'll be using visualization to get more of the things you don't want. And so visualization is the type of thing that if you wake up and you have anxiety about the future, if you wake up and you have fears about the future and a fear of future pain, future disability, future lack of work, future lack of friendships and social life, you're basically visualizing those things that you don't want. And when you do that, you tend to get more of those things that you don't want. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, he wrote the book called You Are the Placebo, and he used visualization and meditation to basically rebuild his spine. He was run over by a truck in the bicycle portion of a triathlon, and all four of his surgeons recommended, you need surgery. Basically a rod from his neck down to the base of his spine, because he had compression fractures and all sorts of craziness, and they were all saying, even with surgery, you're probably never going to walk again. So what this guy ended up doing was said, well, I'm not going anywhere anyway, with or without the surgery, so let me see what I can do. And while laying down on his stomach, because that was the only position he could be in, he basically learned how to visualize and meditate and literally in his mind's eye create the rebuilding of his spinal cord and spinal bones and joints, the spine itself. And it's a really incredible story. You'll have to look him up on YouTube or get one of his books where he tells the story. But literally, after being told by 4 surgeons he would never walk again, through the use of visualization, he was able to literally help his body rebuild his spine and spinal cord to the point where he was walking again months later. I forget the exact number of months. He was able to go back to his medical practice within a year. And absolutely unbelievable, and that shows the magic and the power of the mind. And he did it through meditation, but with deep visualization. He would literally visualize all of his cells coming together and the neurons coming together and the spine regenerating itself. And he struggled for 2 months, said it was impossible, because when he would do this, his brain would jump in there and say, this is never going to work, this is not going to work, you're wasting your time, you're going to be crippled. And after about 2 months of practice, he finally got to the point where he was able to get a complete state of focus, zen, eliminate all distractions, eliminate all negative thoughts, and really just get good at this stuff. So the first 2 months were really challenging, but then he got good at it. So what this video is about is just to let you know that whether you're doing it intentionally or not, we all visualize. We all visualize either waking up in the morning and saying, oh, this is going to be a crappy day. We just visualized a crappy day. We just visualized a day full of pain or symptoms and struggle. So what I would like to suggest to you is start to experiment with positive visualization. Let's use this. Look, we're doing it anyway. You may as well practice visualizing the things that you want and visualizing the result you want and the outcome you want. For me, procrastination is a big deal. So I've begun recently visualizing myself getting more work done, jumping into my projects faster and quicker, and getting these things happening. And that's minor. It's a little thing. But think about it from the standpoint of your chronic pain that you've been suffering with for, weeks, months, years, decades, and how much negative visualization you've been doing as you get stuck in the anxiety loop of this future of pain and suffering and disability. So visualization can either be used for us or against us. And I'm here to say your default mode, our default mode, my default mode, is to visualize those things that we don't want, because we're so stuck in fear, we're so stuck in anxiety over these negative things that we don't want, that we play this movie in our head that says, here's what Dan's crappy day is going to look like. Here is what it's going to look like being bent over in pain, or crooked in pain, or not being able to do what you want to do because you've got these pains and symptoms. So you're visualizing anyway. I don't need to explain it 4 more times, and I have a tendency to do that. I repeat myself and look for different ways to say the same thing. You're already visualizing. What I'm suggesting to you is visualize what you want, and I do say that in my other videos. Focus on what you want. Visualize what you want, the outcome you want. A healthy body, a pain-free body, a body that's free of any physical limitations, a body that's capable of moving and exercising and living life with joy. Visualize those things, and you're much more likely to bring them into your world, as opposed to visualizing everything you don't want. So you're doing it anyway. Give it a try, and don't just do it once and say this doesn't work. This is something that requires practice, right? We talked about neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is basically the concept that what thoughts you fire, you wire. So what are you telling yourself most often? What are you visualizing yourself doing and feeling most often? If it's the negative pain stuff, that's what you're going to wire. So this visualization, a good time to do this is early mornings, right after you've woken up, or just before bed. Dr. Dispenza says that these are times when your mind is in this state of alpha and theta brain waves. I don't understand the science of it, but basically saying early morning, just before bed, are great times to visualize, because our brain is in the proper state. And start to visualize, literally create a movie in your head of the things you want, of yourself doing and being the way you want. And do this, make it a committed daily practice, and I believe you are going to do much better than if you allow the default mode, the default negative thinking mode, to visualize everything you don't want. So give it a try, and let me know your thoughts. Comment below. If you like this video, share it widely, and we'll talk to you soon.